federal agent, glowy, fed, state, fed. There were some intelligent people in prison. You know, it was a mix. You had your kingpins, who were obviously very intelligent. Then you had more of your workers, who were more bold than intelligent. Some of them very stupid. Um, and you can kind of tell who was a worker and who had more of the kingpin mentality. But yeah, the kingpins often had like a little bit of sociopathy too. I got along with everyone. I mean, I know how to be nice to people and be funny. You always got to make jokes, you know, keep the mood light. You're trying to make everything serious and dramatic. That's not good. Nobody wants that bullshit. Well, I mean, everyone is nice in prison. Because if you aren't nice to me, you had problems with the Albanians and a bunch of New York guys. So you could get in a lot of trouble if you say the wrong thing to me. There's a bunch of people who would love to beat the shit out of you on my behalf. And of course, I had the same problem. You know, if I said something stupid to the wrong person, it could cause a big problem because my boys would have to go diffuse it with their boys. And what ends up happening is really interesting. I saw we had this like break room. It's like a activities room, and I saw a guy getting the shit kicked out of him in there, beating his ass. And I go to my big homie. I'm like, hey, the hell's going on over there? He's like, DP. And I go, DP? What? He says, discipline. So what does that mean? He said, that guy, he said, you see that guy on the floor? I said, yeah. He said, he blood. I said, okay. He said, see all the guys around him? I said, yeah. He says, he blood too. And I said, what? How? What? He said, he almost crashed the car, meaning he caused a chaotic scene that would have gotten the whole jail into a war. So they had to discipline him and show him not to do that again and show the other gangs that we'll take care of our own problem. So if he mouthed off at a Colombian, the Colombian boss would go to the blood boss and say, listen, your guy said the wrong thing to my guy. If you want us to stab him up, we could do that. Or you can deal with your own guy accordingly. He said, oh, we'll do this. Don't worry. We're sorry about that. You know, he didn't know what he was doing. We'll take care of this. Everything's good. All right. And then they work him up. Oh, there's so much diplomacy in fucking prison politics, we called it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, more gossip than a damn, you know, just massive amount of gossip, massive amount of politics and just constant bickering. I don't like that kind of culture. Everyone romanticizes it in music and film, and there's nothing really great about it. There's not okay. So in terms of the gay stuff, I see a lot of people. People are always interested and fascinated in this, and they really shouldn't be. I mean, there's nothing cool or funny about rape. But what's interesting is that and this should be obvious, there's a lot of gay people in prison. You know, the same way 10% of people are gay outside of prison, 10% of people are gay in prison too. So there's no shortage of people who want to be with each other in prison. So nobody really needs to do it forcefully. If there's just plenty of people that are just gay and they don't care. And in fact, there's sort of this reputation. I'll talk about that in a second, Theo. There's sort of this reputation especially among DC prisoners, that they'd be gay for the stay. So DC prisoners would be on the DL, they'd be on the down low. Theo, yeah. So about half the prison staff is women, and yeah, look, as a guy, you're looking at these women, and one out of, just like any other distribution of men, women, or anyone else, 10% of the most attractive people are really attractive. There's the top 10% of the prison staff. There's probably 1,000 prison staffers and 3,000 inmates. How many people that is? Maybe it's like 500. I don't remember, but it's a lot. And there are a lot of, not a lot, but there are plenty of attractive women in there. But if you try to, it would not be smart to try to approach these women. And also, because you're in jail and you've been away from society, your mind starts playing tricks on you. A person that you think might be a 10, maybe they're actually a 7 or a 6. There was one very, very pretty lady, and I just, what can you do? I mean, I'm not. But yeah, I mean, every single guy in the prison would think about that. I mean, we couldn't help it. Yeah, prison goggles. There was a funny story, and I don't think this is true. I think it's more apocryphal. That there was a prison guard, a woman who was very promiscuous, and there was basically an outbreak of herpes in the prison. And everyone was wondering, how are these guys getting herpes in here? Worth. That's like the wood meme. Food was god awful. Yeah, of course. That's why people were wondering, was it because of the guard, or was it because of the? Of course, yeah. I was able to talk to my dad every day almost. Ah, it's a good question, Theo. I'm not sure. I got to think about that. Yeah, I ate prison food like everybody else, of course. I got to eat a little bit better than others, but oh yeah, I saw I saw that English prison. That was hilarious. That was a great video. uh, we had chicken day and burger day. Burger Day, the black dudes referred to it as White Boy Wednesday because we would go crazy over the burgers. They're so bad too. But Thursday was Chicken Day. Let me tell you, Chicken Day was lit. Yeah, everyone knew who I was. No N-word pass, very strict. Everything in prison is about respect. You know, you got to respect each other. Never got into a fight, thankfully. Probably one or two close calls, maybe three. But you know, nobody wants to get into a fight if they can help it, because a fight means you go to the shoe and this and that. No need to pay for protection. I'm Albanian. Albanians are extremely deep in prison. Albanians are overrepresented in prison, like 10 to 1. I mean, of course, I'm Albanian, so of course I had to run with the Albanians. There wasn't a choice. I don't think you understand the way Albanians work. We're very It's a very tight community. Now, Albanians and Italians ran together, but also separately. It was complicated. Jews had their own clique too. It wasn't powerful, but Jews had a small clique. Yeah, unfortunately, I had to do a low instead of a camp. There were some international prisoners. Muslims had a pretty strong group, and Muslims would take rats. These are prison informants, criminal informants. Lompoc was well known, yeah. I see. Sam Bankman went to a damn camp. You'd have a couple of Indians and a couple of Asians. Not too many. Well, Doge, what you could do, you're always going to be part of some group, okay? Exactly. Mr. Twister got it down. You actually went to prison as well. Um, so if you were, oh, I didn't like the DC black guys at all. They're really just wild. Now that's a stereotype. You know, there's a couple of nice ones too, I'm sure. Um, I like the New York guys. Um, but that's the thing. If there's kind of a white car as well. Some people call it a The solid white guys. Solid means you did not serve as a informant. Yeah, informants are basically the lowest of the low. Tell me, tell me about the Rust update for Fanta. The area. So there were two weird gangs, and they didn't make it to my risk level. In the medium and the penitentiary, there's something called AB, which is Aryan Brotherhood. And we heard a famous prisoner who was just pardoned or commuted, somebody you guys may have heard about in the news. Somebody was forced basically to go into the Aryan Brotherhood. That story should stay in prison, but the other group, which I had no idea, never heard of this gang in my life, was called Dirty White Boys. It's weird. Dirty White Boys. Go figure. I think I got that name right. So there are some gangs that are prison only, which is fascinating. No, Albanians are not Aryan Brotherhood. Now, the weird thing is, well, they force you to do it. They basically are like, hey, buddy, are you white? Well, if you're white, you better be proud of it. And you're like, yeah, I'm proud of it. They're like, are you really? Because if you want to roll with us, you gotta be real proud. That kind of stuff. You know, Big Herc, let's go. Yeah, it's. I mean, you got a life sentence. That's now. I didn't have to handle. I didn't have to deal with that. In the low prison community, Fonte, you'd be fine because you're a European guy. So there was a European group of people. I don't know how many Germans we had. I'm trying to remember, but we represented kind of the European contingent. Um, there were a lot of guys who were expats. I didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff. Now I wasn't in a camp, which would have been even better. I was in a low, but at the medium and at the penitentiary, you're talking about a lot of violence, a lot of some sexual violence, although again less than you'd imagine. Well, it's crazy, Basil. You'll have people in prison. They'll have a plant, right, that they're taking care of, and if somebody fucked with that plant, you can get killed over that. There was a guy. We have a term called institutionalized, and that just means somebody who's been in prison so long they don't even know what the real world is like. Um, and I think the guy's name I'm thinking about was named Shakur. And Shakur had these crazy eyes. He was a black dude, converted to Muslim. And if you went into his cell and didn't wipe your feet, he would take that like super personally. And it's like, look, the jail's dirty. Like the whole fucking thing is just fucking disgusting. But he'd be like, that's disrespect. The guy would just take it so fucking seriously. Yeah, Mr. Twister is 100% right. Backing me up here. No, escapes are extremely rare. Some people do it up for their birthday. To me, that's crazy. We got a Maurice enjoyer. Jail did not make me racist. Jail opened up my eyes a little bit to the plight of the urban community, which I already knew about, but it really reminded me how lucky I am and how important parents are. Because the thing about jail is the poor white people are very similar to the poor black people. It's not a race thing. It's a poverty thing. No, I don't think there were too many Polish guys. We had a Bulgarian. We had we might have had a Polish guy. No, not too many Irish guys. One, every now and then. There was one guy who I liked who was Irish. I'm trying to remember. Like a Boston guy. Yeah, I had a couple Boston guys. Yeah, there were some wealthier guys for sure. I had a lot of cellmates over time. Some good, some terrible. I had a lot of fan mail. There were definitely some gym rats. Somebody asked earlier. There was guys that were 300 pounds, fucking 100% muscle. That's all they would do. Yeah, we had some Bosnians and guys like that. Well, this is fun. I got some other stuff to do. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. It means a lot to me. I'll see you again tomorrow. More earnings season. And we'll catch you then, all right? Thanks again for joining.